What's up, people of YouTube? This is Troller here, bringing you guys another video to my channel, and today we are doing a top 10, and this top 10 is basically fan-driven for the most part, or community-driven, I should say. But because I have such a low viewership and I don't have a lot of people who voted, a lot of them were my friends, Facebook friends, stuff like that, because it's really hard to get people to see it, and so I had to have some people vote twice on the lower guns, and then some of them were tied, so I had to balance them out in my own opinion. So for the most part, this is fan-driven, but some of them, like the lower-ranked ones, I moved around based off of my opinion on the gun, or where I feel like the majority of the community would feel like they should be, and that's how I have this top 10. So this is the top 10 burst guns from Call of Duty history, and there's a lot of burst guns, surprisingly. I went back through all of the games, and I found 25 burst guns, and I could have missed some. But that's a lot of burst weapons, and I was amazed to see that many in Call of Duty as a whole. I figured that maybe there'd be like 15 or 16, but no, 25. So starting off here at number 10, we have the SWAT 556 from Black Ops 2. If you guys remember this gun, the way I remember it the most, which is why I had to put it at number 10, because it was tied with a few other guns, the way I remember it the most was it was really, really good when you put on that rapid fire switch, so that way you could just full auto spray anybody down across the map when you're playing. And that's mostly how I used it. The other way that I really remember this gun is the reload animation that it had. It was really cool. I really liked the reload animation, and I wish that they would bring more guns in that had really, really sick reload animations like that. But point being is the SWAT 556 was basically the little brother to the M8A1 from Black Ops 2. And it just wasn't as good. I think it was a 4-shot kill for the most part, so you had to get a full burst and then some on people, which was surprisingly hard to do a lot of the time. And I think that it had kind of a slow burst too, if I remember correctly. It wasn't all that fast. Moving on to number 9, we have the M16 from Black Ops 1. If I'm being completely honest with you guys here, I do not remember this gun hardly at all. I just barely remember this gun. It was like one of the first guns you unlocked. I'm pretty sure it was in like the default classes, but I think you could one burst people with it. So that's why I put it in here at number 9. I do remember that when I used it, it was really nostalgic. It was a really classic looking gun, and I liked that a lot. Moving on to number 8, we have the IMR from Advanced Warfare. I remember when Advanced Warfare was coming out, this gun was so hyped. Everybody was like, well, a lot of YouTubers in general were like, this gun is going to be one of the best guns to use this year. It's going to be amazing. And when the game came out, it really wasn't that way. But I did like the IMR. A little bit of a piece of information for you guys about me is I don't typically hate the burst and or semi-automatic guns. I tend to do really, really well with them. And thrive when I use those guns, and just because over the years I've gotten a lot better accuracy, and so when I use burst guns, especially ones that are good like the M8s or the good M16s and stuff like that, I can one burst people because I'm really good at getting all the shots on target, especially in those medium to close ranges. And so the IMR kind of fell into that category for me a lot of times. I remember using it up on top of one of the maps in Advanced Warfare, like the prison map or something, and I could shoot down into the spawn. And I always use this gun because it was just a one-shot, it was a one-burst kill tons of times, especially one of the better variants. Moving on to number 7, we have the M93 Raffica from Modern Warfare 2. I remember that people ran these dual-wield a lot, if I remember properly. I never really liked them. I thought they were really weird. I don't like the idea of, at that time, I didn't like the idea of 3-round or 4-round burst pistols because it just didn't seem right. It didn't feel right to me. So that's pretty much the reason why this wasn't higher up on the list. 1, I didn't know much about it. 2, the community that I had vote basically put it at its spot for the most part. Like, it only could have went up one spot maybe. Moving on here to number 6, we have the XR2 from Black Ops 3. I personally did not like this gun all that much, but I would take the M8A7 over it any day. But the XR2 definitely had some strong points. There was a point in time in the Black Ops 3 lifecycle where I think a lot of people chose the XR2 over the M87 as a whole, which is really weird to me because, like I said, I felt like it was a kind of a weaker version of the gun. I felt like there was a lot of times where you couldn't get those one bursts unless you were really, really close, and that might still be the case. I don't really know how much it changed, but I remember struggling quite a bit with it at times, and I just kind of over time put the gun down. I was like, I'm not really feeling this gun at all. Moving on to number 5, we have the ARX 160 from Advanced Warfare. Do you guys remember the steel bite version of the ARX 160? That gun was amazing. I had the steel bite and I loved it so much. It was one of the guns I always would use, the steel bite, or obviously the other really good guns in the game, the few variants that I had of it. But the steel bite was amazing. Probably one of the best burst guns that I can remember, but purely based off of, I tried to do a balanced combination of the variants and the base version of the gun. So that's why, on top of the votes that the community gave me, the ARX 160 is at number 5 and not any higher or lower. Moving on to number 4, we have the M8A7 from Black Ops 3. Now this gun kind of surprised me. I felt like this was going to be in the top 3 for sure, but it wasn't. So the M8A7 was probably my favorite burst gun from Black Ops 2 for sure. Obviously, it's a very nostalgic feeling for a lot of people who play Black Ops 2 because it is basically the M8A1. Just a little worse version of it. The M8A7 was really easy to get one burst kills with. It was a 4-round burst gun, I believe. I'm pretty sure. So it was really satisfying to get that 4-round burst kill consistently throughout the map, and it was just a really good feeling. Moving on to number 3, we have the FAMAS from Modern Warfare 2. This is another weapon that I don't remember using a lot, and honestly, purely based off of the way it looked alone, because I was a lot younger than I was a kid. The FAMAS from Modern Warfare 2 I thought looked so ugly, and so I probably hardly even touched it all unless I picked it up off of somebody. And that's probably the main reason why I don't have a lot of history with this weapon. But the community voted for this, and this got this spot based off of the votes pretty much purely, I'm pretty sure. Moving on to number 2, we have the M8A1 from Black Ops 2. This is my personal all-time favorite burst gun from any Call of Duty game. Loved this gun, used it a lot. I even used the full auto attachment thing that every now and then, and I really enjoyed being able to use that on my weapons. The M8A1 was like the pro gamer's choice of weapon, and I think that it made a lot of competitive games really interesting to watch. And granted, like, the majority of the pros use the M8 or the MSMC basically, or the A94, it was still really fun to watch. It was the first 4-round burst gun that we'd ever gotten in a Call of Duty game, I'm pretty sure. And it was just so satisfying to get kills with it, in my opinion. Like, it just, the way it sounded, the way it acted, it was quick between bursts. It was a really good gun. Some might say it was overpowered, but I enjoyed it a lot. Moving on to number 1, we have the M16A4 from Call of Duty 4. You know this one was going to get a lot of votes. You know this one was going to be the winner. And this is the one that everybody voted for the most part, and that is why it is at number 1. Now, the M16A4 from COD 4 is, I feel like it's different and remastered, honestly. But I used it a lot back in the day when the game was originally out, and it was basically because it was I was young, again. It was the default gun that you unlock, and it was just kind of like, okay, well, this is really good. I do pretty good with it. It's, you would unlock guns higher than that and find yourself doing worse. So that was my main reason for using the M16A4 from Call of Duty 4. But then you go to Remastered, and it feels like it's even, I wouldn't say it's better necessarily, but everything else is so much more, it's on a weird playing field that, like, it melts people so fast, and I don't remember it being that way. And I bet it's because the hit detection has been improved since then. And, always improving hit detection is a great thing, but it just definitely makes it feel different. For the last thing here, guys, I have an honorable mention, and the only reason I have this as an honorable mention is because it's literally the only other weapon out of all of the weapons that got a mention, got a vote, and it is the PDW from Call of Duty Ghosts. This was a handgun, I believe, and it was a 3-round or a 4-round, maybe it was I'm pretty sure it was a 3-round burst handgun, and I hated it. I hated the thing. I thought it was so stupid, and I never ever liked using it, but somebody out there really liked it, so I felt like it deserved to be at least an honorable mention in here because it didn't, outweigh the rest of them, especially the ones it was tied with, in my opinion. And that's pretty much how it goes from here. Anyways, guys, Twitter and Facebook links will be down in the description as always. Please remember to like and subscribe. This video is going up extremely late. It'll probably be 8 o'clock, 7 o'clock by the time you guys see this video, which is kind of a bummer on my part, and I'm sorry about that. But I hope you enjoyed it at the very least. There is a code down there. Use code NFAM for 10% off any and all Fatal Grip orders. Also, a Catalyst Mints link and an apparel link for Nova Gaming if you guys would like to check that out. Also, if you guys could you turn on the notifications for my channel, because YouTube has been acting super weird lately, and I don't feel like my videos are going to people's sub boxes and stuff like that. So if you could turn on notifications and never miss an upload from me, that'd be much appreciated. Anyways, guys, deuces.